footpath, a small footpath. Probably don't use the footpath. He couldn't use the asphalt road because the asphalt road was made in around the 60s.
I was thinking John would have been an old man.
Right. That's why he chose. That's why he chose the cave, because this cave is very close to the port. Who was this permanent residence?
Okay.
And can you imagine? Maybe he would slowly, by the help of Prochorus, the disciple.
Right.
This is what I guess sometimes. How he walked. Maybe, you know, they went very slowly, step by step. Yep.
Γεια σου Μανουέλα. Γεια σας, καλά εσείς. Δηλαδή στάσου και εκεί.
What about a fourth in right there?
If you walk to the right, you can see the monastery on top.
There we're going at that.
Now we're going to use some steps in front.
Okay.
3 steps. One detail concerning the steps. The left side of the steps is lower than the right side. So it's easier to use the left side to go further up and this way.
Okay.
Use the left side, you
Use
said.
the left side.
The left side, the left side. We have to use the left side for... Oh, great, great.
The left side.
The left side.
Η σειρά είναι χαμηλότερο το δεξιό, οπότε μπορείτε να με δείτε πιο εύκολα.
The left side.
Αυτό είναι η λογική. Because we are very close to the monastery, it's very wise to prepare the entrance tickets. The white, and there is one blue card, I believe.
I thought we were taking the left.
No picture taken inside here.
I'll tell you, it's more complicated. You need certain directions, but we have to see the interior of the cave to tell you this direction.
Okay.
In some places you're allowed, in some other places you're not allowed.
My goodness, glad it's not straight up, right?
Έλα μου έβαζες να ψάχνεις.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Bus number 1. As we enter the fortress, you will see an open window on your left-hand side. You have to give the entrance tickets. And because this door is used also by people who exit, please try to form a thin line, leaving some space to the right, so for all these people to be able to exit. Thank you very much. The entrance tickets right here on the left. The white or the blue cards.
Thank you.
Try to form the thin line, leaving some space to the right. Thank you. Great. Oh, great. You're great. Celestyal. Bus number 1. About photography. Photography is allowed here at the courtyard because the sky is above. Photography is not allowed behind me, inside the church. And on the second floor, there is a museum, the famous treasury, as it is called. Inside the museum, photography is not allowed. And because monks are devoted people, if you see monks and you want to take a picture of them, I recommend that you should ask for their permission first. Can you all hear me through your devices? If you cannot, just come closer to me to be able to listen to my voice. You know something? This monastery, although it is dedicated to John, it does not have a direct link with John the Apostle, in historical terms. You know from the very first part of the book that John the Apostle came here on Patmos during the early Christian times in historical terms, just because he arrived on Patmos at the end of the 1st century. 10 centuries after the arrival of John, I'm telling you now about a totally different historical period, the 11th century, which is characterized in historical terms as Middle Byzantine. A very educated monk came here. He came from Asia Minor. We always characterize Asia Minor, this part of modern Turkey, which is closer to the seawater. You came from this direction. The name of this educated monk was Christodoulos. You can see Christodoulos depicted on this one painting of the 19th century. The educated Christodoulos knew about the arrival of John at the end of the 1st century. So the arrival of John was the motive for this educated monk to start thinking building a monastery of John. His first thought was to build the monastery of John just above the cave of the Revelation. I do not know if you remember these details. The cave is very close to the port, just 85 meters from the surface of the seawater. In the 11th century, because of the pirates around, that location was not safe at all to build. That's why Christodoulos started building the monastery at different places. That's why he chose the hill. Here, we're not standing 85 meters from the surface of the seawater, but 270 meters from the surface of the seawater, far away from the ports, far away from the pirates. And that's why I think he made the monastery as a sort of a castle, to protect himself against the pirates. I believe that Christodoulos had another motive why he chose this hill to build the monastery. The temple of Artemis, which was located here. It was a very special hill for the island. Anyway, although he found the place, still Christodoulos had another problem. Because he was a monk, no property, no money, no financial sources. To find these sources, he made a trip. He went to the capital of the Byzantine Empire in the 11th century, Constantinople, Istanbul nowadays. And he went straight to the palace. In the palace, there was an emperor whose name was Alexios Komnenos I. Behind the emperor, there was a very religious woman, the mother of the emperor.
Μέσα δεν allowed. Εδώ allowed.
Και μη φωνάζει. And especially mothers. When the mother Anna saw the monk Christodoulos coming in the palace, she realized, probably from her instinct, that this monk, Christodoulos, was a very special person. Anna, the mother, had a meeting with his son, the emperor. Do you know the result of the meeting? The emperor, not only did he give him the money to build the monastery, the emperor gave him as a gift the whole island of Patmos, plus some lovely islets around Patmos. He gave him also workers to help him to build the monastery. Such an influential woman. The contract of this official donation, the deed, it is kept nowadays. It is kept in the museum of the monastery, and it is one of the highlights of the museum. Can you imagine, after such a support, the educated Christodoulos brought workers to help him from Asia Minor. He also brought workers to help him from Crete, I think Crete is going to be your next destination, this cruise.
Yes.
And altogether started building this place 10 centuries after the arrival of John. If you need a year, of course there is a year. In 1088. Look at it. I have to tell you that this is a Greek Orthodox monastery, and it is also a Synobic monastery. Synobic, C-O-E-N-O-B-I-C. You know, Synobic means common spiritual life. Monks here function as one family. I have to tell you that in the Orthodox monasteries, like this one, there are not orders, like in the Roman Catholic monasteries. That means that if you visit only one monastic community of the Orthodox world, just one, it is as if you have visited all the monastic communities of the Orthodox world. The 24 hours for an Orthodox monk consist of 8 hours prayer altogether inside the church as one family, sometimes privately though, inside the cells of the monks. 8 hours assignments work, 8 hours sleep. 8, 24. This is an active community. 15 monks live nowadays inside, including the novices, the training monks. I have to tell you that monks here get up very early, 2:30 a.m. The first prayers, 3 o'clock a.m. These prayers are called the midnight office, take place inside. Also matins, the morning prayers, inside. Vespers, the afternoon prayers, inside. And the Eucharist, the main and divine liturgy. Now, if you ask me, Nicholas, can we participate in the services here? The answer, no, because of the COVID. Before the COVID, you could come here, but you had to organize it. Because they start at 3 o'clock a.m., it would be better at those times to make a phone call for the gates to be open, to be able to enter the fortress, to be participants of the services. Now, because of this COVID issue, the monastery of John decided not to allow people to visit the whole length of the church. So practically, we cannot see the whole church inside. Only this part, the narthex, and only this small chapel to the right, with some relics inside. Relics. I have to tell you that in the Orthodox world, members of bones of holy people, relics, are kept for blessing purposes. For example, in this small chapel,
What is coming out of my head?
You may find of the founder, the educated Christopoulos, cross. Inside this cross, members of the wood of cross of Jesus Christ, and 3 skulls. Skull number 1, Thomas the Apostle, Didymus, the disciple of Christ who needed proof for the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Skull number 2, Philip the Apostle, one of the 7 deacons of the Church of Jerusalem. Skull number 3, the protector of the dentists, Saint Antipas. His name is mentioned in the book of Revelation. Actually, he was the first bishop of the Church of Pergamum, one of the 7 churches of the book of Revelation. Now, practical details. Because the church, you cannot see the whole length of the church. How we enter is we go inside this door, just visiting this room, the narthex, then we turn to the right, clockwise. We walk in this small chapel with the relics inside. We exit this small door, and I will be waiting for you right here, because I'll tell you about the second floor where the museum of the monastery is. Allow me to explain to you about the protocol the Orthodox follow when they enter one church. Look at my right hand, please. First of all, the Orthodox connect their 3 fingers just like this, in order to symbolize the very fundamental symbol of all Christian denominations, the Holy Trinity of God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The other 2 fingers of my right hand symbolize another fundamental doctrine. The doctrine which claims that Jesus of Nazareth has got 2 natures, the divine nature and the human nature. And then the Orthodox touch their bodies, forming the sign of a cross. Top, bottom, right shoulder, left shoulder. Then both sexes take off their hats and they enter the church. I think it's time you saw the interior of the church this way.